everybody. Welcome back to the Curiosity Experiment. We are here for another episode. Thanks for hanging in with us. Clay, why don't you introduce who we got hanging out around the table this evening?
Indeed. So, as normal, we have Derek. Say hi, Derek.
Hey.
We got Q.
That's me.
And me, Clay, which is Clay.
AC minor.
That's
AK
right.
on
Also, for guests, we have Justin Pollock. Is that correct?
That's right.
I always want to call you something different. I can't remember.
Potluck?
Maybe
Pollock?
something like that. Like, I think I introduced you as Justin Putman one time.
Did you
Putman.
really?
Yeah, I think
Putman?
so. And then I was like, that's not
That's
right.
far off.
Let me Facebook it.
Yeah.
So anyway, Justin, tell us a little bit about you. You are New Covenant, correct? So elaborate more on that. What is your position at New Covenant?
So I am the family pastor at New Covenant, and that means that I'm the youth pastor, but they want to respect me. But that's what that means. They do. There's an earnest, attempt at respect. So they don't call me youth pastor; they call me family pastor.
I don't know what that means. I don't know how I should take that right.
It just is what it is, man. And so I do a lot of I do youth ministry. I do kids ministry also. There you go.
That mic's a little low.
Oh yeah, I see it now. Here we go. Yeah, so I do youth ministry. I do stuff with the kids, and I preach a good bit.
About to be preaching a lot more, right?
Do you preach
Yes.
well?
You can listen if you want. I don't know.
We be the judge.
Yeah.
I mean, for New Covenant
yeah.
standards, it's pretty good.
I'm about to be preaching a lot, because our pastor is going.
Oh,
MacBook Pro!
Yes!
It's a old boy's first time.
Wow. Hey, this is a podcast we're doing here, Justin. I don't know if you know. This isn't like a...
I would like to say that we're going to edit that out, but I highly doubt we can edit that out.
That was awesome.
This isn't like a backyard party or something.
So the only thing about that is
water.
now that is
That video
gotta-
is going to be edited into
That's right.
slow-mo, fast-mo.
Look, I know you think New Covenant's the only way, but you ain't got to try to baptize all of us tonight, right?
What's funny is one of my first Sundays there's a GIF now of me while I'm preaching accidentally throwing a picture frame from the pulpit. Yeah, there's a meme or
Can
a
I?
GIF floating around. Yeah.
I'd like to have
all that hate
Yeah.
speech you've been
You
using.
need to find Justin Raines and J Cam to get that.
Oh, I bet Jake's got that
Yeah.
on standby. If I can,
Justin made it. Yeah.
hold on.
All right, so what we're going to talk about tonight is spirituality and physical fitness. So let me try to somewhat explain that. When I say physical fitness, I mean, what sparked this is...
V-sit.
Do what?
I just think of the V-sit when you say physical fitness.
I would be presidential and everything, and then the V-sit.
Man.
I couldn't even touch my
I'm
knees.
the same way, too.
I couldn't even touch my knees.
I couldn't either. But anyway, so we all go to the gym, correct? At some point in the day or at some point in the month.
You boys had some struggles lately, okay? Ben.
All right, so all of us go to the gym, but I'm not talking about this. I mean, so for us personally, we're not playing sports except for church league softball. But I don't want to exclude sports from this as well. And towards the end, we'll have some questions in regard to that. But so let's talk about the gym. Like, what is the point? I would look at my notes, but Justin spilled his water. So here's the first question. Why do you go to the gym? So we'll start with Justin because he's the guest. Put him on the spot. Why do you go to the gym, Justin?
I go to the gym because the majority of my day is spent sitting at a desk in a chair. And it's kind of like the first world problem that we have in our society, that your job, for a lot of folks, doesn't get you up. It doesn't, in fact, you need to sit and you need to chill or stand and sit at a computer and write and read or call people, things like that. And so a lot of my day is just spent sitting around, doing research or whatever. And so I have to have something to get my body going, and moving. And so that's why I end up at a gym. If I didn't have that, if I worked a job where I was moving a lot more, I would not be in the gym as much as I am. Yeah.
So, but you would still go. You just wouldn't go as much.
I would probably go
let's say
just
that
for
you was a
strength.
carpenter.
Yeah, I would just go for strength training. If I went in that case, I wouldn't go for cardio. Of course, I mean I'm like moving around all day. I wouldn't need it. But
I would think it would be the opposite.
I mean, carpentry.
Yeah, I mean you're lifting wood all day.
Yeah, I guess it's not. I,
mean,
never really think it was that.
When I
heavy,
was
though.
when I was a teacher and a coach, I didn't go to the gym much because teaching a lot of days you're up walking around all day, you're tired. And then this is going great.
Lots of appreciation for teachers. I see. Here.
Yeah, wow, you've really got.
I love teachers. The teachers know I love them. They're just tired.
I think they can tell.
I would think mentally tired I'd get. Like, okay, I get it. Mentally tired.
I go to
Okay,
the gym
so
because
but
I'm
then
really tired though.
then
too.
you would
Yeah.
go to practice and sweat and move around at practice for 2 hours, and so it was like
Less
I
of a
would- and
necessity.
yeah, I could maintain.
Yeah.
Like if I had a target weight, like when I was coaching and teaching, I could maintain. Once we hit the end of the school year, when all we really had was spring training, and that really wasn't like the season, then I would work out from basically spring until school started back, basically, and couple days a week, just kind of maintain, and then once school started back, so I'm adjusting on that. Like if you're like busy, and you're staying active, like no,
Don't have to spend as much time.
I wouldn't go to the gym.
Of course, it also depends on your goals. Like if you're trying to be a bodybuilder, then
Yeah.
you can't.
Can you express to the audience what you've expressed to me, like what your goal is?
Or what
working
my
out?
goal is?
Yeah.
My goal in the gym is just to be stronger. Because it's like I was
No,
telling
no. That's not what you said. There was a specific person that you mentioned that you would like to be like.
Who is this?
And I'm tagging him. I don't know if he'll ever see it.
my goal is to be like Stephen Furtick big.
Oh, as
So
long
that
as
when I
yeah,
get,
yeah,
so
yeah.
that when I go out on stage to preach, they're just as impressed by my physique as they are my message.
or more so.
Talk about a transformation. Like if you go look at Furtick when he started,
That is true. Old boy got in the gym.
I'm talking. Like it's not even the same dude. Like
No.
his cheekbones have muscles. Like I'm like, how is that?
Watch that elephant room.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because
In the
yeah.
elephant room.
that's like a little kid. Time out. That's a little kid with some theological thoughts, and then like the elephant room was like, I gotta get in the gym.
No, like, yeah. The elephant room, that was Stephen. You watch some sermons now, that's Furtick. You know,
That's so good.
Q, why do you go to the gym?
Well, I mean, I think I do it for, I don't know. I think there's a lot of reasons. I mean, when I quit playing football, I got up to like 420 pounds and was really unhealthy. And I've gotten down to 300 once. I'm not there now. I'm probably about 340 currently. But working out is just a way to do that. It's
Is it primarily weight loss?
no, it's more. For me currently, I go really early in the morning. It's more of like a setting of my day. It's almost part of my quiet time routine. It's
Just as much mental as it is physical.
yeah, it's worship music on. It's sometimes it's a book as I'm walking. It's quiet of a drive to and from in a world where my life is very loud most all the time. So yeah, just having the moment to, and another part of it too is I've got a lot of vascular issues that cause me a lot of pain, and I hurt less
Yeah.
when I work out in the morning. Like I'll say hurt less. I hurt how I control my pain.
Yeah.
Like I hurt where I want to hurt
It's
instead
a
of
good, like I did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
some of the other pains are still there, but at least I feel pain that I caused instead
Yeah.
of just feeling pain I can't have anything
Yeah,
to do about.
it's maybe somewhat of a distraction.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like me personally, like me and Carissa, my wife, we started eating better like a month ago, and so she has lost quite a bit of weight, and she doesn't work out at all, and she just eats better. Like she's on this particular diet, the wheat belly diet, and all that. For me, I was working out, I wasn't eating like a specific diet, but for me, it's pretty incredible how much better I feel. Like because not that I'm like super strong, that I've reached all my goals or anything, but I have gained some strength, and it's really fulfilling to have. I don't want to say be more powerful. That's kind of weird, but you know what I'm saying. Like it's me. The way I look at things is I try to be as useful as I can. That's why I try to learn things. That's why I like to learn about carpentry and stuff like that. Is I can be useful to somebody, and so for me, it kind of became this thing to where if I become stronger, then I am more useful in various areas.
I get the useful thing though, because like that's one of the reasons I do work out too, is because there's functional strength. Functional strength is so important for your everyday life.
Yeah.
You know, it's like people talk about the squat being the foundation for functional strength. If you have a good squat and you can squat into your 40s and 50s, you're looking at like life expectancy like going way up.
Yeah.
You know,
I disagree.
One big reason to work out, you live longer.
yeah.
I've felt that. I mean, especially even before I kind of got back in a good rhythm of working out the last couple of years, just aching when you bend over and things. And now, like, before I was coming here, I was like eating a few pistachios. I didn't really have time for supper, so I ate some crackers and pistachios tonight. But a shell fell on the floor, and I was like, man, I just picked that up pretty easy. Like there wasn't, it didn't feel.
You go, oh.
Yeah, I didn't make the old man noise, you know.
Well, it's too people don't think about like when you work out, it's not just a muscle thing. Like your tendons get stronger and everything, and so you are less likely to be injured. You know?
100%. Yep. Your muscle density is so important, especially as a man. Muscle density as a man, lean muscle mass is everything. Even you're talking about weight. Like some of my working out is also weight management. About 7 years ago, I lost about 50 pounds running, but it was hard to keep. I kept most of it off.
You just took the backpack off.
I kept a lot of it off, but when you just do cardio like that, you actually burn muscle mass too.
Yeah.
So I was getting injured a lot, that kind of stuff. But lean muscle mass, especially on a man, raises your metabolic rate, like your resting metabolic rate. So you burn more calories just living, just being alive when you have more muscle mass on you.
Sleeping,
yes.
Burn calories sleeping.
I mean, it can get up to like almost 100 extra calories a day just by improving your muscle mass, which adds up like crazy when you think about long-term dieting.
Well, if you think about it, it makes sense because I mean, like your body is having to repair itself because it's little micro tears in your muscles. So if your body is having to work to repair itself, then it will burn calories doing it. You know,
I mean, let's be honest. It's not easy to stay working out. I mean, I think
consistency is key.
If you find, like for me, I don't like, it's weird. I don't like getting up at 4 a.m., but I really like the rhythm that's been established at this point. So there's a love-hate relationship with that. Like, okay, if I can do this, if I can make myself take those first few steps, then I know my whole day is better.
Yeah.
Like I've just got to push through this moment of uncomfort to then experience something that's going to make life better.
Yeah.
And so I think that's the struggle no matter what time you do it. Like there's always this moment of, okay, I got to push through this moment of uncomfort. This is not what I want exactly, but realizing all the benefits that come from it and being able to take that step.
Yeah, I don't know that this is going to create any fans for me, but I mean it's the truth. Like losing weight is simple. It's not easy, but it's simple. You know,
math.
Just stay in a caloric deficit.
Yeah.
Like burn more calories than you intake, and your body has to lose weight.
But let me tell you a guy who's lost 120 pounds before in his life. The best seasons of weight loss for me is when I'm not focused on weight loss.
Yeah.
It's absolute and I know there's a lot of people out there that may find themselves overweight. Like I haven't gone on the scale in almost a month and a half. And part of that's been because I've been enjoying working out so much. I mean, it's like 10-week program, about halfway through, and I'm loving what's happening. I love the way my clothes are fitting. I like the way that I'm feeling, looking, you know. So
I like the way your clothes are fitting too.
Yeah,
Man. Look
so-
at you over there.
so-
It's gracious.
That's right.
Cute.
So I'm not getting on the scale because
it could be
Well,
a problem.
when it's the problem with especially guys, and we're guys, but I think for ladies too, it's like, man, that scale can fluctuate so much day to day.
Yeah.
Oh
And
my
if you're on a daily
gosh.
sense,
Yeah.
it's gonna beat you down.
And I find
You know?
I find that like this reinforces my lack of discipline. But like I had a sort of a medical issue last week, so I was not in the gym talking about old man problems. So last week I was like, just for giggles, because I haven't been in the gym in like a week and a half, and really not watching what I eat, and I had lost 4 pounds,
Yeah.
and I was like, and then there was a part of me that was like,
I could continue to do
let's
nothing.
just
Yeah.
cancel that membership. Let's not worry about it.
Hey, I want to speaking about old man and physical. I want to just say a mile marker in my life. I have a friend who's around my age. It's the first time I ever had somebody my age who came to me and said they were struggling with anal fissures.
Yeah.
Like
That's lovely.
like I thought that was an Office thing. If you
Wow.
watched The Office, but like, and like,
Hey,
Do you edit that one out?
No.
Oh, that's
absolutely
good.
not.
That's good. All
No,
right.
yeah.
Okay.
There's very little that gets edited out.
it was like a cream.
Basically
It was
just
like
cursing at this point.
It's like a cream situation. Hopefully, that wouldn't have to lead to surgery. I think they're doing better. But and again, if you're listening to this, way to go, man. Way to go.
There you go, man.
Hey, those are no joke.
I don't know.
Those
I
are
hope
no joke.
you know what.
Hemorrhoids are no joke.
Look,
either.
They're no joke.
They keep
Dude.
you at the gym for a week and a half.
Man.
You think the hemorrhoid's bad?
I will. Hey,
I've had one stomach ache
some
where I had to
research on the anal
put
fissure.
pills up my butt. It was so bad. One stomach virus. It was so bad. But like, I can't believe like I mean, you guys have to do hemorrhoid and stuff. I pray. Like, I'm like, hey, all this vein stuff's enough, God. Don't let anything come out
I
my
mean,
butt.
it's a 3-week process.
It seems
man.
like a common theme that somehow we always make our way back to poop.
a bunch of youth pastors. Been hanging
Hold
on
on.
middle school.
I'm a
guys.
family pastor.
He's like, I'm a lead pastor.
That's right. Don't
I'm not
forget
one
it.
of you.
Hey, let me-
I'm actually I'm a way everyday kind of guy.
So, all right. So, going back to what we're talking about, what exactly do you do in the gym? Like, you can be as specific about that as you want, or as vague. Like, I mean, it's probably going to be boring if you just say I lift weights. But
Yeah.
Here's my go-to that I have found the best results.
Twice a month.
That's your go-to.
This is great. This is great. But
well, hold on. So,
Have you tried those shirts? Those dad bought shirts?
all right,
all right. Hey, to defend Derek,
all right. We'll see you guys later.
to defend Derek, he is the only one here that is playing church league softball right now. So you do
It's
get.
because we play in the summer, not the spring.
You're an athlete.
You're going to play in the summer, correct?
Yeah, we're doing both.
See, that's what I'm saying. So you can't discount Derek.
I mean, look, Derek's an athlete. He always has been.
That's right.
Yeah,
he's the quarterback.
He's a
He's the
quarterback.
Yes.
Yeah. So your go-to. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So one muscle group, let's say chest. Like if I come in on a Monday and say, okay, today's chest day, I'm gonna do 5 chest exercises. Okay, bench, incline dumbbell bench. I'm gonna do five chest workouts. I'm gonna supplement that with like 3 bicep workouts, and so
The split
I'll
workout. You do
split
one.
it. Yeah, and then I do that in like a circuit manner. So like I either on my phone or in my head I have it mapped out. I know where I'm going, and then when I start that first workout, then boom, the only rest is walking to the next station. Sit down.
You
do that one.
superset.
In a way, yes.
You do a
and
set
then
of-
when I finish that rotation, I take a breather, I get some water, I check my phone, whatever, and then boom, it's back into. And I try to do that 3, sometimes 4 times. But that doesn't mean that I won't come back later that week and do, even though I've done 3 bicep workouts, that I don't do a bicep day as the main day. And I feel like you can mix and match that enough to where you're not just, there's a little bit of muscle confusion there, not a ton. I know there's better ways to do that. And then I just periodically try to sprinkle in. Me and Justin sometimes walk around the track together
We
and
have
talk
done
about
that.
our problems, you know.
Yeah.
And we've never planned that, and
It's nice.
it's
though.
really enjoyable. And
God
we should
did.
probably plan that more. Like,
Yeah,
hey, do you
God
want to meet
put
up at the
it.
track
It's
and walk?
It's sovereign.
We need to
Yeah.
get those little, those little dumbbells, walking.
Ankle weights.
I'm wearing a headband.
So you do like a split workout where you do one muscle
Yes.
group. Do you do that as well? Jeff?
I do right now. I've done a lot.
Or you
of
do
it.
like a
I
full
used to do a
body?
5x5. I like the 5x5 a lot. It centers around the big five compound movements. I've done a linear progression that the Rangers use because we have a Ranger in our church who's like throwing it at people. But right now I'm doing a push pull legs thing. That's a lot of fun. So it's 6 workouts a week. So it's a lot, but it's actually a lot of recovery. So you'll do all your push twice a week in split, and then you'll do all your pull, twice a week, and you'll do your legs twice a week. So push stuff is, bench is one of the big compound movements, and an overhead press, like a military press or something like that. It's going to be your, shoulder, compound push movement. And then on your pull days, a deadlift is going to be your big compound movement, or the barbell row is going to be your big compound movement. And leg day, of course, it's squat. You'll squat every leg day.
Why do you hate squats so much?
Squats
Well,
are
number
good for
one,
you, man.
it doesn't matter if it's good for you. It's not good for my ACL that's held together by
Oh,
sports
yeah.
issues.
No, that's
So it's
yeah.
like I have to find an alternate route. And
Yeah.
and let me just say that it's not just that my knee is messed up and never had it fixed. It's that even when my knee was good in high school, squats were just the most awful. And I'll be like, honestly, at 34, I'm just now to the point where there is some enjoyment in the workout.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, I've always,
Squat is
It was a
those-
means to an
I
end
hated it,
everywhere.
yeah.
Squats.
Are you able to deadlift? Can you deadlift?
deadlift actually now is like one of my,
Go to.
not go to, it's like one of my best workouts. Like as far as climbing and now up to like, somehow we view a respectable number amongst our peers. Like I'm not doing like 25s on it. I'm doing I can do 225, and then I can probably do more than that now. But it's like now that I'm like actually liking that exercise, now my Instagram algorithm tells me, there's a lot of guys that are like, if you're deadlifting, you're doing it wrong. You're not working out right. It's gonna kill you. And I'm
Oh,
like,
that's ridiculous,
And I'm like,
yeah.
and it's like,
Well,
all this
I
stuff.
do
Like,
agree that the two workouts that can jack you up the quickest is deadlift and squat.
That's true because
That's
You
why
don't
I only
yeah.
do one of those then, so I'm
Yeah.
good.
Deadlift and squat are
you don't use the
different
right
for
technique.
everyone, every person. That's the problem. Like there's really only one way to bench. It's one way to shoulder press. One way to barbell row, like correctly. But for deadlift and squat, your anatomy, your hip placement, how your hips work, your mobility, and your ankles and stuff. I have so much to do with it. Like
Yeah, I agree with that.
yeah, and so everyone's like
Well,
your stance is different and whatnot.
It's the most cheating.
I hated deadlifting. Like it scared me to death because I thought I was going to jack up my back until what's the little octagon thing that you stand in? What's that called?
Yeah,
Yeah,
not
the
a
octagon
T-bar.
thing.
Is
That
it a T-bar?
thing helped
But-
me tremendously.
because you're going straight up.
I guess
You're
I
not
don't
pulling
know,
on
but,
your legs.
but I my form is so much better with that thing than it is with just a barbell.
Yeah, that's what they're for,
mean,
man.
it's-
They'll save your back. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is positives and negatives, but anyways,
I tend to think squat's one of your safest lifts. I mean,
If you're doing it right.
there's only one thing you can't do, and that's don't lean over. Keep your
Butt wink. Man, butt wink will destroy your back. You know what that is? Yeah. It's when you come down on your squat. So, like, this is your thighs and this is your back. If you come down when you're trying to get parallel and I should do it with this other hand. Actually, I can't do it. It's when you're.
I lost all the body parts that you
like, my arm doesn't bend right there. It's when your back's coming down like this and it tucks in. It's called a
Yeah.
butt wink.
Yeah.
And
I guess,
what
yeah.
you end up doing is instead of being
Bind your
explosive on your
spine.
knees and your hips, where you're supposed to be explosive quads, knees and hips right there in your glutes, you end up putting all of the lift on your lower back right here, and you end up pulling up like that, and you
bad.
will have horrible back pain.
I think I injured my back while you were saying that.
Yeah.
that should never happen.
Yeah.
I've squat a lot of weight. I've never used a belt.
Yeah, I don't use a belt either.
I mean, it's all about your core, keeping your core tight, keeping your form straight. I kind of tweaked my back the other day doing push press, and it's because on my explosion at the top, I let my core get loose, and it just,
Yeah,
tweaking your back.
every now and then I will. I don't even know that tweak is the right word, but I'll do something to my back deadlifting, and I'll just have to kind of chill on it. But my form is not 100% either, but I don't lift just a ton of weight deadlifting either still. So
I worry about deadlift
not
more.
confident enough.
Just a strain on my core muscles. You get heavy deadlift, and it's time under pressure. Heavy weight is like a lot on a deadlift because it's not my squat's usually going to be pretty explosive unless I get real heavy bench too. But a deadlift, a lot of times it's just a strain, and that time under tension is where you can have injuries happen. Like you get my age, like hernias, those things where you're straining stuff.
And that's the thing is like I'm not in the gym to get to a point where I get hurt.
Well,
You know what I'm
because
saying?
go
Like
backwards,
exactly. Like it's like I think that you should increase, you should push, there should be this climb, there should be this struggle. But it's almost kind of like church league softball. What are we there for? I'm there to have a good time, to hang out with the boys, to somewhat still be an athlete. But if we win or lose, it doesn't really matter. So I'm not going to tear my ACL trying to
get that trophy,
to get that
little
ball, or
plastic.
get that trophy. Like I've got to go to work tomorrow. Like wait, what?
You're a pastor. What do you mean you gotta go work tomorrow?
All right, so let me ask this question because there's just one particular fella who I see in the gym, and I'm not judging him. I'm just saying, what role do you think vanity should play in working out? Because the reason I ask that is because this dude, literally every time I see him, he's flexed from me. Now let me tell you something. He's got something.
He's got something to flex about.
Like he does. He does.
I see you, big
So,
dude.
but do you obviously? In my opinion, if you're working out just for vanity purposes, I don't think that's very good.
I mean, I see a lot of people flexing at Sand Mountain Park. I have two immediate thoughts every time someone flexes. I mean, they're followed back to back. Number one is, I wonder if you can bench press as much as me. Like that's an initial thought. Followed immediately by, I wonder if I could beat you up in a fight. I mean, those are my two immediate thoughts every time I see somebody flex.
Have you ever seen like videos of like tiny guys who are really good at MMA just absolutely obliterate ginormous bodybuilders?
Oh yeah,
It's phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying I can beat all those guys in a fight.
No, I'm just saying
that's my two thoughts.
Well, I'm just saying
one,
strength don't translate necessarily into being a really good
because
fighter.
you can go in a gym and just work on your arms like 4 days and make them look phenomenal.
pump 'em.
But it doesn't mean. And I can't stand when those guys are flexing and they have chicken legs. That's the third thought. Like I immediately, if someone's flexing, I immediately look at them and look at their legs to cast judgment.
Well, I see the folks flex. It's so funny. I only see kids usually flexing, kids and like, and not like the kids that are actually athletes and stuff. It's the kids that are working. This is probably their first exercise journey ever, and they're like doing the arm
journey.
Yeah, they're doing like the arm thing where you just side where you can see your tricep and stuff. And they're always doing that.
I don't care how old they are. I just think if I could beat them up.
I just I kind of see the insecurity. It's like I was like, man.
Well,
the
did people
insecurity
flex
here.
like that before Instagram, before Snapchat?
Probably not.
Before,
I mean, I know we've covered this in a previous episode, but I'm saying like
before marriage,
is the flex?
Were they flexing in like
Was
reflection?
the flex there? I mean, all right, you played high school football. What years?
I played from 94 to 98.
All right, yeah. So then, even my generation, social media was like a Facebook was a
thing.
baby thing. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't something.
Yeah,
But so were guys. There was some flexing in the locker room, But I'm just curious, like, because this is the curiosity experiment.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it. I wasn't going to call it the other one, but I just wonder
getting
if
sued.
that just fuels that manly desire to
think
show
so.
people
I
like.
think so. All right, so if we're going to be honest, though, like just to finish up the whole thing about vanity, is there any role that vanity plays in for you? Like, if we're going to be honest, like
I'm
you
fat.
hope to look better, don't
I'm
you?
fat though. Like I'm kind of at that place where there's no hope.
Well, not with that kind of attitude.
Well, I mean,
You're okay. You're okay with it though.
yeah,
So
I'm just
yeah.
I'm an offensive lineman. I want to be. There's no like.
When,
I mean,
when,
if you're talking
when was
about
the last time you played offensive line?
a long time ago,
Okay, so are you? I mean,
Part of his
Yes.
identity, man.
it's part of my
Obviously.
identity.
we'll
But
work
like
on
I'm
that
just
later.
saying, like if Vandy is like, I mean, it would be a miracle of God for me to look in a way that,
like super like.
yeah,
Like, just, you mean, when you say vanity, you mean like just a preoccupation about how you look, you know?
Yeah.
That's part of it. I think
I
that's
think if we're gonna be
Yeah, I
honest,
think-
it's
yeah,
reality.
like
It shouldn't be
Here's
primary.
why.
I don't
Here's
think.
why. Like one of the reasons. This is a good reason. Like my wife appreciates that I work out. Not that she's not shallow. Like there's no one like less shallow than her. She's so open minded and like just a wonderful
no
person.
one in the world.
No one.
Wow.
I'm putting her up.
I
there,
love you,
guys.
baby.
I love her. But she does appreciate that
That you try.
That I'm trying, and that I'm taking care of my body.
My
Like,
wife doesn't appreciate
I'm
it.
doing this for
my-
you, boo.
and like my
Doing
kids,
this for
doing it for
you.
your kids and stuff.
Yeah, they don't care about
Like,
it
yeah.
either for me.
So there's a little bit of that, and then also like, I mean, how you look does play in like a lot of weird things, like buying clothes and stuff. Man.
Oh God, I've played that game forever.
Yeah, like buying clothes when you've not taken care of your body is actually really hard. You know.
Yeah, I have to just.
don't
I
know.
I literally to this day just have to find if it's like a shirt that's my size. I just get. I don't care what it looks like.
Well,
I swear. You think I'm kidding?
I got to take advantage of this opportunity.
Yeah, it's like, oh wow,
well, see, like
that I can wear that shirt. I probably should buy it.
personally, like I've been blessed enough in my life to where like I'm not. There's been times that I've been overweight. I'm not saying that, but I've never been so overweight that I had to like drastically change my clothing. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah.
I mean, does it shock you? And I mean, I've already said several things that hurt my feelings, so at this point, don't worry about it. But like that, I
We didn't mean to
literally
hurt your
no,
feelings.
I'm joking. I
We
literally
were just
didn't.
kidding.
I didn't weigh more than 150 pounds until halfway through my senior year of football.
Yeah, but
So,
look,
like-
look. Let me. I mean, all you guys are at a decent weight and physicality that I would definitely see where Vandy would play in for you. Like, I think
It would be
that's.
a problem, possible.
Well, I mean, yeah, I think you guys could all
A temptation.
get, go, man, I can look a certain way, be a certain way. I've just had that stripped from me because literally in 10th grade, I weighed 275 pounds and I was,
Rock
encouraged.
solid. Rock
No,
solid.
I was not rock solid. I was encouraged to be
be
that
big.
type
Yeah.
of
for
person,
football. For football. Well, is your family large people?
I mean, there's some, but there's some not necessarily. My brother's probably skinnier than Derek, about the same height.
He's got me beat.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just a fat guy.
There's nothing. I mean, some people are just bigger than others. There's nothing wrong with that.
Well, I mean, there is something wrong with it, but I don't know what to do about it. I mean, other than just keep doing what I'm doing. It's like one of those things. Like you can get so self-absorbed in it. There's times I've like looked at myself in the mirror and hated myself and felt like there's this thing that's controls me, that destroys me, that tears me to pieces. And so again, yeah, when I go work out, it's nothing. Like I'm not. There's not this like, oh, I want to be ripped and looked up this machizo guy, but like, it's
Flexing.
yeah, it's literally.
You're not trying to become Dwayne Johnson.
No, it's like I'm just trying to find a moment of peace in it. Like just win a day.
I'll speak to that because I think it doesn't get me in the moment. All right, so like my weight is never something that like I walk into a room and I know I know other people are like this, but like but it's after the fact. So like for instance, first podcast gets posted and it's like, oh crap, that wasn't a very like flattering shirt choice. You know what I'm saying? Like it just
That's the first thing you think about.
It's the first thing I noticed. Like oh crap, and it's like dang.
I thought
But it's
I
not.
thought you looked good.
Well, but it's also more of, and this is what me and you text about today. Like
Motivation.
It's more of Well, see, I don't even know if I agree with you that motivation and discipline are, you said, intrinsically connected.
Well, I don't know if
even
it was that fancy, but something of those.
No,
lines.
those were your words. I can pull them up and I can read them. But so it's like it's more of a not like, oh God, you look awful. It's more of a I did that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's your
you
choice.
made yourself-
It's your choices.
you
It's-
made
it's
yourself
not-
overweight,
Like I've
yeah.
always been very open about that. That it's not. I don't have a food problem. I don't have a workout. I have a discipline problem. Like I know exactly what it is that I could fix, and it's to build habits, to be more disciplined, to make better choices, and it's like I don't.
Yeah,
you know?
and you could say, like, I know you guys say it's math, losing weight's math, and I get what you're saying on that. We said it earlier, but I got a guy on my staff who I'd say on the daily eats double the amount of calories I eat on the daily, and he is he's a beanpole, and he does not work out and does not play any sports.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
I
has
mean,
a faster metabolism.
Our buddy Jake Ham's like that.
Oh,
Like
Jake is ridiculous, man.
Jake is like one of my oldest, best friends in the whole wide world, and we've actually spent seasons in our life working out together.
Well-
and he just makes me sick because he's like, he'll crush Mountain Dews all day, you know, and I'm like hadn't had a Coke in a month, and he's like skinny as a rail.
Well, that's
and
why
I'm just like,
but you say that. So a reality I've come to my mind is like, yeah, some of this is me, but like some of this is you. Like I'm
That's why God created.
I'm built. That's what, I've always been. It wasn't like I have not had a moment where I was a big guy.
That,
you know?
That's where you get to like what is healthy action? What is healthy?
Yeah,
what is
that's what I was
physical?
gonna say.
It's
Because
like-
you can be super skinny and be bad.
That's
and,
right.
And you're bad
yeah,
health.
and you can be like larger, but actually, like right now, like I'm not probably like where the height and like on the stats and stuff are. I'm not like I'm overweight, but I'm the healthiest I've ever been in my life. Like by wide
Well,
margins.
I think too that they use like those charts from like the 1920s. Like human beings have got.
Well, you
bigger,
can think
man.
of in
Like,
terms of like body fat, composition. Body fat percentage. They say like 20% is like where you really need to be shooting for. That's a like a good physique and like healthy and stuff. But I'm functioning like really well at like 25, 30. I'm doing good there. Like, and I like it. And I feel like my eating is in control. Like I'm not.
You're supposed to be between 15 and 20. Is that what you said?
20 is like what I've heard is like the golden, and 10 you goes 10 and you're like
And you're happy with
always
25,
hungry.
30 is what you're saying.
It's like I'm not hungry when I finish a meal now. Like I'm not hungry and I'm not like I don't feel those. I used to. I told you I lost 50 pounds. I was in a bad spot in college. I had an eating problem and just like a time problem that made me always make bad choices with food. And but now I'm at the point where like with my activity level, with working out, I'm satiated like plenty all the time, and I feel good when I work out. Like I got all the energy I need to make progressive overload and stuff, and so I like where I'm at. I don't really want to drop lower on my body fat percentage and stuff.
That's awesome. And let me clarify too, because what you said is exactly what I meant when I said that weight loss is simple but not easy. Because I mean, it is simple, but that don't make it easy. Like because it can go like you said in the reverse. Because I know, like y'all were saying, guys who hated themselves because they were so skinny and couldn't do nothing about it. Like tried their hardest to get bigger.
and I'd switch with him right now.
Well, I mean, you say that, but I mean, it's a really big problem for like some of the like they hate themselves because in our society, a man is a big man, and so therefore they feel like they're worth less because they can't gain any weight.
Well, again, it's a part of it's how we're built. Like, I'm probably the strongest I've been since college right now.
You're definitely the strongest at the table.
Yeah,
certainly.
but I have,
Wait,
but
And you
ma-
could win every fight here.
but maybe haven't worked out as long as you guys have been. So there's something internal
you got
makeup,
genetics,
body makeup that puts it that way.
But
So
what's his name? Ronnie Coleman, is that right? The famous old bodybuilder.
Yeah.
So he was. I was listening to him one time, and he was talking about. They were talking about steroids and how much steroids he used to take. And he said, but also it comes down to genetics. Like you can take all the steroids in the world, and you can't be 300 pounds to 3% body weight like I was because my genetics made me that way.
Yeah.
So I think you're 100% correct.
So just because I'm curious, like that whole thought of, because motivation and discipline go with working out. Like, but are those? Would you define those as kind of the same? Motivation.
Well, I wouldn't say that they're same. I just I think they're linked, and maybe I'm not authoritarian on this. It's like I don't know. I'm just this may be.
No, I just
completely
thought.
due to my personal.
No, I'm not
Here-
trying to
here's-
prove you right or
No,
wrong.
I understand.
I'm just saying I think that's a good topic to discuss.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
And here's where I'm coming from. So, like right now in my life, which granted, I go through phases. Okay, I know this about myself. There's going to be a time in my life where going to the gym is not going to be as fun as it is now, but I thoroughly enjoy it right now. Meaning that I have a high motivation to go every day, and it requires very little discipline from me because I just like to do it. So that's what I was saying.
I've always
is
hated it.
well, and therefore you're not motivated to do it. That was my point. And so if there's motivation to it, then there's not as much, in my opinion, need for discipline to do it.
I would say that you actually have a high amount of discipline. It's just easy discipline, right? And so the higher the motivation, the higher the discipline you apply to it. That goes for anything, school, career, whatever you're doing in life. The greater your motivation for that thing, like the more discipline you are going to levy towards it, towards those goals. And sometimes you just really enjoy it, so you might be thinking more like enjoyment or something like that. But, going to the gym when you like it is still discipline. Like you're still building the habit, doing all the brain stuff,
Well, and too, I think part of it is I think rather pragmatically and black and white. So like when I was saying today, like if the doctor tells me if you don't lose weight, you will most certainly die within the next year or two, whatever the
I mean,
example
I
was.
honestly think
for
if that were
me,
the case, I would only go for a little while and then eventually be like,
I can't imagine that though. Like that is that's so bizarre to me.
I'm preaching on Heaven Sunday.
Dude,
Like,
your,
it's fine.
your wife
Like,
would be on your case. Like if she thought you were gonna die in a year, because
Yeah, but I'd be like, doctor, just walk into Walmart.
what?
I'd just be like, doctor, go to Walmart, walk around. I'm fine.
Yeah.
That's what I
Well,
would tell the
I
doctor.
mean, in my
Look at someone
hypothetical
else.
scenario, though, I'm saying like it's a definite thing, like it's gonna happen, which is not ever true. But and again, that's what I'm saying. Like that's the way my
By the way, that's actually a great, that might help me lose more weight if I wanted to do that route. Because I remember reading the Stephen King book one time where this guy it's a short story where he was wanting to quit smoking. And they got this card from this company to help him quit smoking. And so he's like, they call him and say, hey, you can't smoke anymore. And if you do, you're just going to be trouble. So he doesn't smoke for a few days. And then he's like, you know what? This is dumb. He smokes. And they show up and they cut one of his fingers off. And says, you can't smoke no more.
That's low motivation before.
Yeah.
High motivation.
well, it's
Oh, hey, I got
And
a
also-
great example of this. This is actually what started my weight loss journey and like just physical fitness journey period.
don't get too excited.
I know. I didn't put my lid back on. Here, let me put that on.
let's do it again. Let's do it again.
I developed gout when I was 22 years old.
Because you were you Jake Ham.
22. I know we both. We're,
Shout out Jake Ham's
I know,
gal.
I know. He's got it right now.
We'll tag him in the post so it gets more circulation. Yeah.
I was 22 and I was not like I was like add 50 pounds where I'm at. It's not like crazy amounts of weight, but it was overweight, and I developed gout. I was pre-diabetic already. 22, man. Like and my body was not doing well at all, carrying that much fat. And that gout flare, have you ever gout? Gout is the most painful thing in your life. Is horrible, and that like spurred me. I was like, I'd never want that again. And one of the biggest reasons that you end up with gout as a young man is bad weight management. And so that started me off like, and then
High motivation.
yeah, high motivation. I actually just had a flare this weekend.
Well,
That had nothing to do with but it was like I'm even more like I got to get even healthier.
I'm going to contradict myself though, because like the example you just gave, people are told all the time that if they don't lose weight, they're going to die, and they continually gain weight.
Yep.
And then people,
Cause-
if you do not stop smoking, you're going to die. And they're like, I don't care. So I don't.
Well, this is also a related thing.
But
I
that's
feel
so
like.
bizarre for my mind.
But
Like,
think
That's
about-
that's a very simple it's very simple psychology. It's the instant gratification stuff. Like, we don't worry about something that's a long way away. We worry about things that are close. So if you tell me if I smoke a cigarette, I'll die today, then maybe I won't smoke one today. But if you're saying to me I'm going to die one day, I really want.
We'll worry about that day.
Yeah.
You know? Well, and the thing is, though, think about how, number one, how expensive and time consuming it is to be healthy.
This is true.
So like the meal prep, the planning, the ingredient checks.
What is
you know,
healthy? If meal prep and planning and all that is what it means to be healthy, then like that's a extra.
I don't think that's what
extra.
That's what it takes to be healthy.
It's extra for somebody like me, but for some people that's the way of the world because they do have certain allergies or they have something and they have to cut
gluten
those out.
allergy or
Gluten,
something.
yeah. And then think about this, like for instance today, like time crunch. You know, just like but I have to eat, so it's like 2 cheeseburgers and a bottle of water on the way to get a haircut, so that then I can
think
get
that's
back to work. And so, by the
For
way,
me,
it
that's where
was
discipline
$4.
kicks in.
And it was $4.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The bottle of water, 2 cheeseburgers, $4. If I would have gotten the salad, it would have been $9 or $10. You know what I'm
The
saying?
expense is real.
Yeah.
It is definitely more
Yeah.
expensive to eat healthy. Vegetables, like me and my
They
wife
don't-
were actually talking about this.
Reckon why that
They
is.
don't want us to
actually
be healthy.
Conspiracy.
It's more expensive to buy the ingredients for a salad to make at home than it is to go to Zaxby's.
Yeah, I
and get the
agree.
salad. It is so wild, and so it's cheaper.
Plus, their salads are amazing.
But at the same time, your choice, if expense isn't an issue, the choice is actually there's like some psychological things going on. I think where we choose the cheeseburgers instead of the sandwich or the turkey or the salad, and it's like an expedience thing that happens. And this is one of the things I was dealing with years ago, that I was making all these bad choices with my food, and I didn't realize how easy it was actually to eat healthy, and being creative in the kitchen and whatnot. Supplementing ground turkey for ground beef is one of the wildest but most anabolically good things to do for calories and stuff.
Calories, yes, but I mean, there is some red meat people who say it's very. Anyway, my brother, you can't do it.
I stay away
my
from
brother,
meat, yeah.
my brother just eats meat.
Oh yeah.
He's carnivore.
I'm almost there.
Yeah.
Like if the Lone Star tick ever gets a hold of me, just shoot me. Like,
Wait, well, what?
the Lone Star tick, like
What's
where
that?
Texas?
it's a type of tick in Texas, where if it bites you, it gives you an allergy to red meat, and you can no longer eat red meat.
No.
Or it makes you very.
Well,
I
that
cannot
marks Texas
imagine.
off my
I've just been
list.
taking foods off my list recently. Like if I eat a food and I feel like crap the next day, I'm just like it's off my list.
I'd never take
amazing.
anything off my list.
Oh, I do.
Everything's wide open. Like
This is just-
ice cream, pizza, whatever.
Yeah.
I just like
This has just been a recent
Yeah.
phenomenon for
this,
me.
This guy's
Like,
so encouraging. Like, we're going to go to Giovanni's, and I'm like, well, I guess I could eat a salad. He's like, Derek, God made that pizza?
God made that
pizza. And that's cheese and vegetables.
He's trying to be more disciplined.
just fight for 30 minutes
I'm
later
like,
or something, man. I just got.
Well, you
I'm
know
just
I'm not
throwing
going to
them
the gym, Justin, so I probably don't need to eat it.
All right, so listen, we're running out of time, so
Okay.
let's move on. So let me ask this question, because we're all youth pastors or pastors, and as youth pastors specifically, it seems like we're constantly tempted or pitted against sports, right? Like we have to compete. So let me ask you this: like, at what
I'm
level?
about to flip this table.
At what level? And we're talking about physical fitness. At what level? Like, let's say that you have an overweight child.
Oh, gosh.
Should you make them participate
My own
in
child?
sports?
My own child or somebody else's child? My
No,
child.
no, yeah, your child. If you're a parent, this is for a parent. Like if you have an overweight child and you're pressing them to do healthy things like play basketball or whatever, how far should that go? Like, should you do that or should you not do that?
I don't know with guys, but with girls, you have to be very careful. My girls, I mean, I've got, I want some girls that more heavy, some girls are not in my family, but body shaming,
Yeah.
like you can really tear down
Be destructive.
a young lady if you're not careful in how you navigate that. So I try to encourage.
Yeah, how do you do that? That's an
Yeah.
interesting point.
So you try to encourage when they're interested in anything that would cause them to have some kind of physical activity. For me, we say you can't get on your electronics till sundown. So that just gives them
Promotes them to go outside.
They get bored, so they're going to go do something that causes them to move around. And then where we fail, we need to do better. My wife's actually doing better at this for our girls recently. Is just you got to limit the amount of bad choices they can make in your house, food wise.
Yeah.
Well, if you provide them with junk food, it's
Then they're going to eat it.
Yeah.
It's not,
absolutely.
and that's
Oh,
not their fault.
Teenager, man. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
going to destroy that. Man.
Yeah.
I think that and it's something that we haven't even talked about, but I believe we are created spirit and physical. Like God created us physical, put a spirit in it, and so there is a spiritual component to our physicality, and there is a physical component to our spirituality. And so to me, those are tied together. So when you're talking about kids and how you deal with that, the psychological and the spiritual and the emotional, to me, almost has to take precedent over the physical, even if it is a physical problem. You know what I'm saying? So like your question is weight. That's a physical problem. If you damage them psychologically or emotionally because of the physical issue, then you've compounded the issue, and they're probably going to deal with the weight issue, and now you've compounded that with the psychological, and which will then bleed over into the spiritual. You know what I'm saying? Like that will all.
So
That's all
I
connected.
don't know. It can go the other way too. It can totally go the other way. Like I have a student right now that a year ago was so rough psychologically, anxiety, depression, like crazy. And this kid's problem was very simply that he did nothing. He exercised none. He did not eat well.
Right.
And now he is exercising, eating, and it was like one of these things like, this is what you need to do. Part of your whole problem is like your body image and things like that. You actually do need to work on this.
yeah, I agree with that.
And we had, we just had a good relationship built up where those kind of truths could be, spoken. And he's doing so much better now.
Yeah.
Post
Well,
that.
and me personally, I find that to be true. Like I tend to be in a better mood when I work out. Like
Yeah.
not while I'm doing it. I'm just saying if I work out, I tend to be in a better mood.
But you can also damage people. Like there's no
And
doubt.
I do completely agree that to me, like what I said and what you said, is a two-way street. So it's just
It
going to
is.
be dependent on the
Two different
individual.
sides of the same coin.
Yeah, it's just going to be dependent on the individual of which way you travel up that road, like which one comes first. But either way, you can't approach that and then damage something and feel like if you damage something, you're gonna fix something. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like it.
I think one of the greatest things you can do for a kid, though, too, is like remember that security for a child, and this is, I say child, I mean it all the way up to like almost 20. Security for a child is fun. Fun is security. If you make it fun for a kid, it builds security. And that's what's at stake when you have like
Instead of just go run a mile. You
That's
come up-
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
doing something fun. It
it can't be
builds
punished.
the
It's
security for the kid that's part of the relationship. So if you're a parent or you're afraid you're in a damaged relationship with your kid by addressing their weight or inactivity or something, and so the security's at stake. You have got to make this thing fun, whatever they do. So if they're interested in sports, then yeah, push in that direction. But if they're not, then y'all need to get creative and do something fun together that is helping
think-
them get there.
I think that is quite the interesting point.
I've seen some parents who have been very strict on their food for their kids, and then those kids get older and totally like go the opposite way.
Yeah.
And then some kids who parents just let them eat whatever, and then somewhere along the line it clicks in them like they want to do something for themselves. But I think that the more we can give good information to our kids as they get older, the better.
and then help them, show them, model them, however you want to word that, to be able to take in information, examine themselves. Okay, why are you grumpy, irritable, depressed? Why is that happening?
Yeah.
Then look at it, be self-aware, and then make choices based on what they see and what they know. And so when you help build those choice making procedures, or let them help you make decisions, and I'm not to that phase yet. I mean, at 6 and 3, I'm not to that point yet. But I do think that is a part of it, so that they can begin to learn as adults. If I have no energy, if I've got all this stuff going on, well, Derek, you hadn't been to the gym and you're eating like an idiot. Okay, well, there's some changes that we need to put in place. Like, I can do that. Help them learn how to do that at an early age without tearing them down.
Wouldn't you think, though, like, there's unfortunately so many people that just refuse to think that way. Like, because, like, for me, and I'm not trying to sound superior, I'm not saying that, I'm just saying, like, for me, it's very important to understand why. Like, if I don't see the purpose in something, I struggle with it. So, like, for example, I've heard people say, like, you shouldn't drink Diet Coke. It's got aspartame in it.
Aspartame kill you.
Okay, like, well, I still drink it because I hadn't done the research on why aspartame is bad. I just always heard that it is.
Yeah.
Like, if I go and do the research and I find all of these legitimate reasons why it's bad, then I probably will stop drinking it. But
Don't tell me about it if you do.
yeah, that's partly why I haven't started.
Ignorance is bliss.
To me, all that is tied to, you talked about sports. It's like you look at a team, and you've got some parents that just feel like their kid is superior to everybody, but it doesn't take an expert to go,
No, they're not.
no, baby, they're not.
Yeah.
And so it's like we can be a victim of our own thoughts and our own reality sometimes of what we think is 100% true. And so that's why it's important to have those relationships. Like you said, you had a good relationship with that student, so you were able to share some of those truths from another perspective. And for me, like, I'll credit Riley Davis, because it was like one of the best decisions that I've made. And here lately, like, he's been busy, I've been busy, and then it's like
That was going to be my question.
Hasn't been committed, but like Riley, like, I just looked at Riley, and to me, this is a principle for any part of your life. If there's something that you want to be or something you want to be better at, you have to go find the people that are already kind of at a level that you feel like you want to be at. So, like, if I looked at Riley and like, okay, Riley's an in-shape guy. He's not shred. I mean, he's built, but he's not standing in the mirror, flexing. Like, I'm like, okay, like, I could be him. Like you said,
You didn't go.
It's not going to mirror.
You didn't find somebody morbidly obese to.
Okay, but yeah. So like I know that and you said it when I said, yeah, I'm working out with Riley. Quentin said, he's like way more advanced than you. I'll never forget that. Q said, he's way more advanced than you. To which I replied, yeah, that's kind of the point. Like, I needed him to say, do this, do that, do this. And I told him, tell me what to do and I'll do it. And he did. And so, like, for those 2 weeks that I was in the gym, and I'm joking, we were way more committed in the beginning, but, I had to go get somebody. I knew that I wasn't going to be able to just get where I wanted to be.
Well, let me ask this question, and maybe you want to talk about it, maybe you don't. It's okay. Like, again, for me, the psychological things that I see help me tremendously in my motivation. So, like for example, when I first started working out, I'm doing the tricep extensions, and I'm like maybe doing 50 pounds. You know what I'm saying?
That's not bad.
And that's all that I can do. And then I keep doing it, and then I'm like up to 90. And then I keep doing it, I'm like up to 120, and then 140. And for me, that is like, I gotta keep going. Like, if I keep going, then I bet I get to 150. I better max this machine out, And there's like this huge motivation for me to
have all the plays.
Yeah.
That's such
I
a man
guess,
thing.
yeah.
Just have
And
all
that's
the
pure
plays.
ego.
That's a 26-year-old man.
He's like, I don't need all the plays.
Hey, you said motivation. I think, and you brought it back to that and the why. You can bring it back to the parents. I think that's the first question a parent needs to ask themselves. If they have a student, they have a kid that they're concerned about their weight, why? Why are you concerned? Is there a lot? The temptation to live vicariously through your kids is great.
Yeah.
The temptation to see your value and your own sense of worth it through how your kids represent you is great, and that's a temptation. That's sin. Do not do that. And so there are situations you can pressure your kids because they embarrass you. You can discipline them out of your own embarrassment, which is one of the worst ways to parent. And I think that happens sometimes with the weight thing, with the
and you see
looks.
that in sports too, like with athletic ability and things like that.
If you have daughters and they get older, I mean, I'm just telling you, if you're out there, like they're going to know if they're not the perfect form of beauty that culture says they should be. So one thing you got to make sure you do, no matter what size or whatever your daughter is you got to let them know they're beautiful. So that they need to hear that. They need to know that. Because the world is going to try to tell them that beauty only looks like one thing. And it's going to eat their lunch every day because everybody's buying into it. And if you're not pushing against it, then they're just going to believe it too.
Yeah. Go ahead.
And your example, like to an example to what Justin was talking about,
It's probably
like,
needs to be it too. We're over an hour here.
is what Kobe Bryant said. I don't know if y'all know this story, but when he was like 12, 13, he played in this prestigious summer league in Philadelphia. He scored 0 points all summer. And the guy doing the interview went, I mean, he's talking to Kobe Bryant. He said, "You scored 0 points." And Kobe said, "Not a lucky three, not a free throw, not a point all season." And he goes, "I was just defeated." And he said that after the last game, his dad said, What's wrong?" And he said, "Dad, I didn't score. I didn't score all year." And his dad looked at him and said, "Yeah, I noticed that. But I love you whether you drop 60 or whether you don't score." And Kobe said, the light bulb went off, and the person that was my biggest fan, who was my hero, didn't care if I scored 100 or if I didn't score any. And he said, "Now we're going to score 60, but we're not going to go back to nothing." But I also had that reassurance that in his eyes, I couldn't fail. He goes, "But that motivated me." So I'm not gonna. I just when I heard that, Gavin
That sounds like a sermon illustration.
Yeah, when I heard that, Gavin was 3. So this is Gavin's like first year of like real sports like baseball, and I had the opportunity to tell him tonight, like, the season's over. He did good. We didn't win the championship. It's okay. And so tonight, before we came to shoot this, I said, "Hey, did you have fun?" And he said, "Yes." And I said, "Did you try? Did you give it your best?" He said, "Yes." And I said, "You know that I love you whether or not you hit 1,000 home runs or struck out every time. Like, I love you no matter what." And he looked at me and he made eye contact. And he's 6, so eye contact is rare. And he goes, "Yeah, Daddy, I love you. I had fun." I was like, "Hey, that's it."
Derek for the
That's a
daddy
win,
win.
right?
But I'm saying that's a Kobe thing. That's what he did. But you got to hear that stuff and go find it and then put it into place. You can't just let that be a feel good reel that you watch on Instagram.
Yeah. Sounds good. Okay.
Yeah. Hey, thanks everyone for tuning in and listening, watching, however you're, getting this information out there. We really appreciate you spending time with us. We'll be back in a week with maybe some new guests and some new information. If you have any suggestions on topics, feel free to message us through any of our social media outlets there, and we would be glad to hear what you have to say. All right.
Stay curious, friends.
Yeah, peace
Adios.
out.